Hello, friends and friends I haven't met yet. I hope you guys are all having a great day. I am right now decided to film in the bedroom of the home that I have been doing a house sitting type arrangement for about the last 9 months, mainly because it's got a little bit of light coming in the window and some of the other areas are a little darker. I didn't want to have to move around a lamp just so I could see. You're gonna see I got my massage table out right now. I had some friends over last night. I have my daughter coming over today. They need body work. So anyway, so they came over, or they're coming over. I don't know if you can see I could do right here. You guys see that? It's kind of hidden a little bit. He is going with me to my next place, wherever that may be. I'm calling him Fred right now. I might take other name suggestions when I actually move in. But basically, that is actually why I'm on here to talk today is, the whole reason why, one of the reasons why I started this whole YouTube channel is I really felt impressed upon the Lord to start it much earlier than I actually did, really as a way to share his glory, share the journey of whatever I'm going through and the things that God's showing me or doing or working and the way he's moving. And not just that, but I want to talk health stuff, all that stuff. But anyways, today I'm actually coming on to talk about, it really hits at a place in my heart. That was one of the reasons I really didn't want to start the YouTube channel in the first place. And because, there's always something that I'm believing God for or praying about. And one of the things I didn't want to share on here was, when I was discussing this with God, and I'm like, I don't want to share the journey, okay, I'm up against this obstacle, and then I'm sharing on here how I'm believing God for it, and then what if it doesn't work out the way I think it should, or the way I'm believing it should, or hoping it will, or whatever, and then it makes God look bad in some way? And I know that may sound crazy to some people, but it's something that I've thought about. And the last couple years has been a total stripping of so many things in my life, in my beliefs, lots of different things. Been very freeing, but been very difficult too. Anyways, so right now, for the last, like I said, I've been doing this house sitting situation. The people are coming back in about a month and a half, a little less than a month and a half, and they're going to be back for the whole summer. And, it's been a great situation. And so I was thinking, last year, I was like, wow, this has been such a great situation. If they want to continue, I would like to. And then, they came back for the holidays. A lot of people don't know this. We had to leave for a month, lived in my friend's basement, which it worked out really well. But then we moved back in, and just the whole process of it. And then knowing they were coming back in a few months and knowing we were going to have to find another place for 3 months, both the kids and I were just feeling like we want something that is going to feel more permanent and more settled, that feels more grounded. And come to find out, the people actually are thinking about selling it, so it worked out great. But that does mean that I've been in a place since the beginning of the year that I have been calling on God, asking him for favor and provision and different things to find me a home that is suited for us. And I know that I could just go out, everyone can just go out and rent a home like this. It may sound kind of funny, that I'm like, oh, I'm just believing God for a house, because you can go rent a house. But this is a deal. I've been looking at houses and for rent. Some people have been like, well, it might be cheaper if you buy, but right now the housing market is so it's so hot right now that you're not going to get a very good deal, most likely. I just had a friend who put her house on the market. She got 5 offers, I think the first day, 2 of which hadn't even seen their house, and one was for $5,000 more than they asked. So, you know, so I'm like, I'm fine with just renting for now. But you know, even the renting market is pretty high. Like, you know, in my area, I'm trying to stay somewhat close to where my office is in Ozark, and where the kids have their different stuff, kind of more on the south side of Springfield, or maybe even east, because that's close to Ozark. But Ozark, Nixa, southeast side of Springfield. It seems like a lot of the homes, you know, like I'm looking at, like, let's say you find a house like 1,300 square feet, $1,000, like, you know, or let's say $950, you know, it's just kind of high, you know, and, so anyway, so I've been asking God, please go before me and just find something for me, because one thing, that I've had to learn in this journey is, you know, when I was married, and even when I was growing up in my home, like when I was growing up, my dad took care of everything, you know, like he was really good about just making sure all the ducks are in the row, like everything's great, you know. I get married soon after, you know, like I move out, you know, I get married, like I was 19, I just turned 19 when I got married. And even though, me and him, you know, obviously got a divorce, and there were reasons, like pretty substantial reasons for that, but even so, there were a lot of areas that he was really stellar at. And one of those is he did that same thing where he just kind of took care of a lot of stuff. Like he just took care of stuff where, like, I had my own stuff that I had to take care of, but there were a lot of things like I've just never had to experience in life, my whole life, having to take care of. And I don't like it, but it's just where I'm at, you know, and the Lord has been walking me through it. And so one of those areas is this whole thing of, like right now, like I'm needing a place to move into. I'm needing a place to find to stay that, you know, that I've been asking God for a special deal, because I feel like, you know, if you know, I'm a Christian, I'm believing God, and if I'm asking God in faith to provide something for me, then I'm believing that he's going to provide something amazing. Because, like, yes, I could just go out and find a rental just like everyone else, but I just feel like, why, like, if I've been praying and I'm believing God, like, why should I expect to find something that, like, any non-Christian who hasn't been praying is going to go out and find? And so I'm asking for divine favor and everything. And, you know, it's been a little interesting because, you know, a lot of people around me know that I'm needing to move out, because I've put out the word. You know, I have clients and I let them know, hey, if you know of any deals or hear of anything, let me know. So I had 2 clients who both said that they had something that potentially would be available, like right when I needed it. And, you know, one of them, like I checked out, wasn't going to work. The other one, I went by and I'm like, oh, like I actually do kind of like that, you know, and it was a little less than, you know, some of the other homes, and it was more square footage. And I was like, you know, like I'm believing God actually for something even better, but I'm like, yeah, that could be kind of like a backup plan, you know, and because, you know, and so just yesterday, so like I'm already planning on making this video. Just yesterday, I contact, you know, the one house I knew wasn't going to work. I contact the one guy, and he's like, oh, the person decided that he not only wanted to renew his lease, but he wants to buy it too. So I'm like, oh man, like that was, okay. And so then another house had come up that was, you know, someone else I knew had a rental and it hadn't been rented forever. Well, I contacted that person. It had just been rented. And so, anyway, so like I'm making this video. It's really probably the perfect timing to make it, because I don't have any ideas. And, you know, I know like I'm believing for God for something great. And I'm getting on here, sharing my journey, you guys can believe God with me, because me and the kids would like to find something that's a little more permanent and that we could feel grounded in for a while. And it's funny because like in thinking of this and like that concept or that weird mentality of mine, I guess, of like not wanting God to look bad, has been a process that he's been taking me through, that it's like this life is not about, like, it's not my job to make God look good. Like, I consider myself like an ambassador for Christ, but it's not my job to make him look good. Think about Job, and like, and when God actually finally comes down and speaks, he's like, hey, you don't know anything, basically. Like, you think you know something, you don't. And like, who are you to even question me? Like, God can do anything. And so like, in all of this, like I was thinking about different things in my life, but like with this situation, if it comes down to the wire and I end up having to find something that is just a normal deal, it's not going to shake me, because God has his own plan and he can do his own work. And one thing that he's been teaching me through this whole time is, just as I was able to trust my dad growing up to take care of things, and just as I was able to trust my kid's dad in so many different areas of our life, how much better is our God? So much better than a human, even a human that tries his best to be perfect and to do right all the time. How much better is our God? And so right now, God's been speaking to me over the last many months that he's been wanting to show himself as my all-sufficiency, in so many areas. So this is just one of several. And so I'm just trying to put my faith and my hope in him, and just in this resting, trusting place, just as I would, in all the other years that I've been able to be in this place. I'm just putting God in this place and saying, okay, you're my perfect father and my perfect husband, and you can go before me and prepare a straight way for me. And we'll see what happens. So as part of this YouTube channel, you guys going through the journey with me, there's been other things in my life, that I've kind of put myself out there believing God for something that seems a little out there maybe. I've had 6 kids, and I believed that, the curse of pain in childbirth was put on women because of sin. But the Bible says that sin, Jesus became the curse for us when he hung on the tree. Cursed is any man who hangs on the tree. Jesus became the curse for us. And so I was like, if he became the curse, I shouldn't have to live with the curse of childbirth anymore. And so I told people I'm believing for painless childbirth, and no one believed me. Like, so many people like wanted to make fun of me. We were in a smaller church. They had like an out-of-town preacher come, and he even talked about it. Well, that's like something you can't believe for. And I'm just like, whatever. Anyways, my first birth, it was painless. Actually, my first 3 births were painless. And then my 4th one came along. God was speaking to me some stuff through the whole pregnancy that I'm just like, I don't know what God's going to do with this birth, but it's something different. And it was probably more like a normal, like a normal labor, what most women have to go through. And then my 5th one was painless. And then my 6th one was like the labor from hell. There's a lot of stuff going on in our lives right now that's super difficult. Pregnancy, so many emotional things. So anyways, but it's like I was believing that first time of never experiencing it, never hearing any like preaching about it, like not being raised thinking that, not knowing anyone who had gone through that, but just feeling like this is something I'm going to believe for. But if it doesn't work out, I'm still trusting in God. I'm still going to believe that he's good. And like, I'm not going to believe like, oh, he didn't answer my prayer. Like, he's a good God. And if it didn't work out, like it didn't work out. And it's same thing with, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And I know this is going to seem like a bit of a stretch, but I'm just saying like kind of what is in my spirit. But, you know, they did not bow to the idol. And they had said, you know, anyone who doesn't bow to the idol is going to be thrown in the fiery furnace. And they didn't bow. And so the king gathered them and was like, you guys are getting in the fiery furnace. You're going to like be burned up. And unless you bow. And they're like, we are not going to bow. And we are believing that God, our God, is going to save us. But even if he doesn't, we're still not going to bow. We are still believe that God is almighty, you know, all that stuff, declaring his sovereignty and his glory and all that stuff. And you know, they went in the fire and it all worked out great. Like the fire didn't touch him. The king brought him out. There was another person in the fire with them. It was God. They brought him out, and then they're like, yeah, you could worship your God because he is the almighty. You know, it was a great testimony. And so I know that's a bit of a stretch, but, you know, people being put in a fire compared to me just like believing God for a good deal on a house. But I'm just putting it out there that I'm believing God for something great. You guys can walk through this journey with me. If I end up being in a normal house, praise God anyways, because all good things are from him and he's got a purpose in whatever he does. But you guys can walk through this journey with me. I gotta be out like in about a month, so it's gonna be coming up pretty soon. So anyways, love you guys all. Hope you're enjoying walking through this crazy journey with me. Love y'all.